Hey guys, Steve Simpson here with Central Florida Property Management. Hope everyone's doing well. Wanted to chat real quick today about a question we get asked a lot from people calling about purchasing investment properties in Orlando, which is what is the best neighborhood to buy an investment property in? So I figured I'd just give you guys my thoughts. Spoiler alert, I don't think there is a best neighborhood, but I'll kind of get into the reasons why. Okay, so best neighborhoods. I think to answer that question, you have to take a step back and kind of ask yourself, what is the purpose of the investment that you're making, right? So, for most people, myself included, at the end of the day, you're basically looking for cash flow or at least some sort of ability to cover your mortgage and appreciation. Okay, so given that, the only way that I would see that there would be a quote unquote best neighborhood would be a place where either A, you know for sure the appreciation is going to be higher than other areas, or B, just the way the math works out in terms of I can pay X and pay X to buy the property and get Y amount in rent, and that is a best spread, if you will, compared to the general market. Those are really the only places I think that it would make sense that it's the best place to buy. From my experience, that doesn't really exist. There used to be a few places where if you're willing to kind of take certain risks, college students or certain neighborhoods, the math kind of made more sense. But you do have different intangible issues getting into. Obviously, running to college students is not the same as running to a family or adults, right? So you're kind of taking on more risk that you should be getting compensated for. So the way I look at it is really just a case by case basis. I try to basically avoid quote unquote war zones, just areas that are not good, or you have to worry about squatters and potential violence and, breaking and entering, stuff like that. I also try to avoid very expensive areas. I've just found that generally speaking, very expensive rental properties can be problematic for their own reasons. Namely, a lot of the stuff in the properties is very expensive, so if it gets damaged, it can get expensive. And also, to a certain degree, when people are paying, 2 or 3 times average rent to rent a property, they have some expectations which are not always realistic or can be expensive to accommodate. So I try to find something, quote unquote, a normal house, right? A normal neighborhood, which the vast majority in Orlando are. And then besides that, I'm basically just looking at the raw numbers, right? So, if you go back and look just on the appreciation side, if you go back and look at what happened after the financial crisis, if you look percentage-wise at what properties appreciated for, not hard dollar amount, but percentage-wise, there's no real rhyme or reason. Like, this neighborhood didn't appreciate more than that neighborhood percentage-wise. The only thing I can think off the top of my head is condos went up a little bit more because they fell down a little bit more because they couldn't get financing, which that's a whole other video to make. So there's really no way of picking out, and obviously no one's got a crystal ball, there's no way of picking out, okay, I know for sure this neighborhood's gonna appreciate more than that neighborhood over the next 10 years. Well, then all neighborhoods in a way are kind of equal, right? You're assuming that just the general market will go up in Orlando over the next 10 years. So wherever you put your money, percentage-wise, it should go up the same as everywhere else, give or take a few percent. Then the question becomes, okay, what about cash flow? Again, generally speaking, if a property rents for more money or has the potential for rent for more money, it's probably a more expensive property, right? It's not like there's going to be 2 properties that rent for $2,000 a month and one costs $200,000 and one costs $300,000. They're all going to be around the same. And then obviously if you factor in, if it does cost less, maybe it's got a HOA, maybe it has a CDD, it has other recurring expenses that would otherwise reduce that amount. So I know this is kind of a very long way of saying that there's no great neighborhood. My general rules are avoid really bad neighborhoods and then look at things on a case-by-case basis. I just think that generally speaking, if you took 20 pins and dropped them around town, random houses, 20 different zip codes, and you just looked at, okay, what is this property going to rent for? What are my default expenses, insurance, taxes, HOA, stuff like that? And then you figure out what you're going to have to pay for it, what the market value of the property is. Your return on investment is going to be, very, very similar across the board, assuming you're looking at similar prices of properties within ranges, stuff like that. Not to get too into the weeds, but just for example, the average home price in Orlando right now is about $350,000. So if you're looking within one standard deviation of that amount, upper or plus or minus, your returns I think are going to be generally the same regardless of the neighborhood you go to, if that makes sense. So hopefully that wasn't just pointless rambling, that actually provided some value. Cliff's Notes is just look at properties on case-by-case basis and don't invest in very, very bad or very, very, very expensive areas. If you guys have any thoughts, obviously that's just my opinion. If you guys know Orlando well and you say, well, no, Steve, I think a neighborhood, X, Y, and Z is the best one because of ABC, I would love to hear it. Or if you guys want to talk shop, feel free to give our office a call. Hope you guys are doing great. Thanks.